Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Bit of a different one today. Today we're talking about cameras. I normally use Insta360 cameras, but today I want to talk about this. I recently picked this up. It's same size as an Insta360 Go. It looks like an Insta360 Go, but it's not. It's not. It's a cheaper version of it. I made this video because I wanted to highlight some of the cameras I've owned over the years and the quality differences and how they compare to modern cameras. So I'm going to do a comparison video with things like this, GoPro, similar to GoPro, Insta360s, the lot. And we're going to compare them and see how well they perform. But I've made some rules. So before we start, let's look at the rules. So rule number one, this is all to make it fair for all cameras. All videos must be filmed from a chest mount. So I've got one of these GoPro chest mount things so that the cameras sit here. The only exception to that is part of this video will contain the cameras that are fitted to this AOC system. Obviously they can't be mounted on the chest mount, but they're permanently fixed on the bike. I'm not allowed to favour any specific camera, so they all will be featured. I'm not allowed to do any editing with the footage, so apart from for noise. So I think some of these cameras will be very noisy because of the way they're set up. So if they are excessively noisy, with wind noise, etc., I will turn the noise down. No external microphones, so only what the camera picks up. All cameras set to the top quality recording settings, so if it's 4K, that would be the top setting. If it's 1080, that would be the top setting. If it's 8K, that would be the top setting. They will all be at their top setting. All cameras to use the same speed micro SD card. That's a 256 gig V50A2 card, so they all have the same one. If available, electronic image stabilization will be switched on. So again, that basically is just the top settings for the system. So they will all have that if it's available. All videos to be filmed in the same time of day, so no one gets a better light advantage or looks better in the evening. They're all filmed within a 20-minute time zone. I will add, the day of filming this is very windy, so there will be extra wind noise on the camera, so it'll be interesting to see how they perform. All cameras must be given the best chance to perform, so I can't block them off. I give each camera the same amount of time, the same amount of record time, and in recording the same place. So the only difference to this is if the camera comes with a different case. For example, the GoPro came with a waterproof case. I have another camera which came with the same sort of case, but also a skeleton case. I will use the skeleton case because it gives the camera a better opportunity for noise. So each one gets its own thing. Obviously they're going to be rated in value of what I paid for them. The camera's on the bike, so this comes as part of a navigation system. Navigation system is worth about 500 euros. So I think if you take out the navigation system, the music system, the Bluetooth system, the camera system, everything, I think the cameras are probably worth about 75 euros out of that bundle. So I'll value them at 75 euro. I then will now record a section of road on each camera using the same bit of road at the same time of day. And we'll start with the lowest value first. So let's give it a go. So the very first camera is one I bought many years ago. So let's have a look at this one first. This is the first one we're going to look at. I bought this about 12 years ago, I guess. And I paid about 50 euros for it in a shop. It comes in a waterproof case. It's a very basic camera. Screen on the back, full color screen. According to this, it's 1280 by 720. So you can class it as HD. It's made by a company called Innova. I remember when I made my very first videos with this, they just wobble like crazy. So no image stabilization, no super high quality or anything. So let's go and see what this one can do. I think it would be a bit of a struggle compared to modern cameras. Let's check it out. I think you'll agree it's good that there's been some massive improvements in camera quality over the last sort of 12 years or so. All right, so the next one is this one. This one it's cost me about £60. This is the fake Insta360 Go. It states on the side it's 1080. I don't know so I assume FHD means full HD and 1080 the resolution. Don't think it is, but there you are. So I saw this advertised on Facebook. I'm going to put the video up now. You can see it. See what you think. All right, so this one, the only difference with this, it doesn't come with a normal mounting system because it's a small. It comes with a lanyard thing, which I've got around my neck, which has a metal plate on it. That sits behind your t-shirt, and this just clips onto the t-shirt magnetically. Let's give it a go. Let's see how this one checks out. This should be quite an interesting one. Bear in mind, this is probably just as stable as the other ones. So let's check it out. To be fair, that one, the image quality was actually quite clear. Probably it's all right if you sat in a car and just driving along nice and smooth, or probably in a petrol garage and buying a can of drink in the middle of the night. Maybe it's good for that, but it's not very good for a motorcycle. So there were other videos of that online, and it showed people riding motocross bikes and riding horses and stuff like that. It's clear there's no image stabilization. So I think in this one, what you saw was a true reflection of it rather than the 1080 high quality advert. Okay, so the next one is a GoPro copy. This one cost me about €65. This is a company called Wolfang. This is the GA100. It's 4K. I was actually quite impressed with this when I bought this. I bought two of these. One of them now has got a slight charging problem, but this one still works perfectly fine. I used to have this as my main camera. I was very impressed with it. So, but it is just a GoPro ripoff. This is the one that came with the skeleton case, but also a waterproof case, which I didn't use. So again, full screen on the back, color screen. So let's give it a go. Let's check it out. Let's see what this one can come up with. Yeah, I think the camera angle could have been a little bit higher, but to be honest, €65. I think it's done a pretty good job. It's pretty clear. It actually, if you turn the image stabilization off, it changes the picture slightly. It makes it actually a little bit even more clearer. So, but as I said, for this test, electronic image stabilization would be on. So, €65. Actually, I think it's pretty good for a camera. Anyway, let's move on. On to the next one. The classic, I'm sure everyone will recognize this, is the GoPro Hero 3. I bought this for about £70 off a friend of mine. He upgraded it from the 3 to the 4. This was really the first camera that got me sort of into filming things. This one only has a waterproof case, so sound wise I think it's going to be pretty crap, obviously, but I think these are still quite good cameras. Let's take it out. Again, we'll mount it on the chest, we'll take it out, we'll give it a go. Let's see how well it does. Let's check this one. Alright, so the GoPro. Well, to me the colour looks a bit washed out. Again, the angle could have been slightly better, but the camera, the colour definitely looked washed out on me, as far as I'm concerned. And the sound, because it was in that waterproof casing, is just dead noise, basically. Even though it was windy, it still picked up quite a bit of noise. Obviously, GoPros have massively improved since then. I mean, I don't know what they're up to now, 12 or something. This is a 3. Still a good camera, but I think that the Wolfang camera before it, for a fraction of the price, actually far performs better. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. So the one that I can't mount on my chest, this is the front-facing camera from the IOC system. I have one on the front and I have one on the back. Obviously, I can't mount these on my chest. Again, claim to be 1080 with sound. These are in a very good system. This system, if it gets knocked or bashed, it will automatically start recording and will lock any recorded footage. Really good. Let's give it a go and see what this one can produce. So the IOC system, as I mentioned before, is part of a massive package. So really the cameras aren't designed to be used as an action camera, they're more of a security feature. So they're on this bike. The system can detect if the bike is moved, if it's parked up, if it's nudged, or if it's impacted, and it will start recording, and it locks the recording so that it can't be written over, and then you can be given to insurance and blah 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 blah. So it's not really an action camera, but I just thought I'd add it anyway. But so my view on that is well washed out picture. The sound is absolutely dreadful. It claims to be 1080, but I don't know if it is. Good feature of that, I don't know if you saw it in the video, in the bottom left corner, it stated the date, the time, the coordinates of where you are, the mileage that you were doing. So yeah, quite a good little system. If you would use it, would you use it as an action camera? Would you use it to record your trips? I would think probably not. Anyway, let's move on. Well, that was a bit different. All right, on to the next one. This Insta360 One X2. This was my go-to camera for a good few years. It still is an awesome piece of kit. I paid about 350 euros for this. this has been with me everywhere. I've had this mounted all over the bike, crash helmets everywhere. It still is one of my favourite cameras of all time. So let's stick this on again, chest mounted. Let's stick this on. Let's see what we get from this one. So the Insta360 X2, brilliant camera. I think that the quality of the recording visually is extremely good. This one does have lens protectors on it, so that will make a slight difference. Also the sound, this one does have wind muff protectors on it, which I fitted ages ago and I didn't want to remove them. So the sound is slightly muted, I guess. Generally though, the sound on these is brilliant. I use these, if you're watching my other videos, I quite often use this mounted to my chin of my crash helmet, and it really picks up the engine noises perfectly. Brilliant camera, what can I say? All right, let's keep going, one more to go. All right, now we're on to the top of the range. The pinnacle of 360 cameras, in my opinion, the Insta360 X5. 8K, up to 8K recording, absolutely amazing. I took this on my tour around southern Spain. This thing never failed to perform. Yeah, I have nothing more I can say about this camera than it's absolutely truly amazing. Let's take it out, let's do this in 8K and see how well this one goes. Let's give it a shot. So the Insta360 X5, what can we say? I mean, video quality, 8K, 30 frames per second, amazing, absolutely amazing quality. One thing I don't like about this, and I said I would be honest about this, so I'm going to be, is the sound recording. I think the Insta360 sound recording isn't that great. It has this big microphone at the front, which is meant to have sound deadening. Whenever I watch videos from influencers that are paid to produce this, it makes an amazing noise, but no, when I do it, it sounds very tinny. Could it be my camera and no one else? I don't think so. I think it's just the sound. That I think lets it down, the sound lets it down. I have bought an Insta360 mic which connects to this, which is phenomenal, but that's not part of this test. This test was to test out the cameras as they worked. I think the camera is without a doubt the best of what we've done. Sound quality, it's not a 10 out of 10 for sound. I would say it's probably about an 8 out of 10 for sound. So still a great camera. I wouldn't be without it now. I absolutely love this thing. Now I'm thinking maybe I was a bit harsh on the sound of the Insta360 X5. It did actually sound better than all of the others, but yeah, there you are, there you are. So just a summary, I think we can look at this and we can say like we've gone from one extreme of camera to another. I think the Insta360s are amazing. I know there are people out there that are dedicated DJI fans or GoPro fans who will argue that they're not. Hey, we each have our own choices in life. I think the Wolfang €60 camera is phenomenal for its money, and it actually comes with a pack of accessories which includes remote control, multiple different mounting systems, external microphone, waterproof case, skeletal case, loads of things for 60 quid, and you can see the video quality is superb. Audio not so great, maybe with the external mic it is. I've never really used it. So yeah, I think obviously value for money, I think the Wolfang is hands down a superb camera. Obviously when you get to the other realm where you're talking €650 or more for an Insta360 X5, you expect it to be good, and it is good for that reason. The other point I'd like to make about this video was it was made just for fun, just to see. I started looking at this little fake Insta Go, and I thought, let's just go through all the old cameras I've got, but I drag them out and see how good they are. So it was just done for a bit of fun. In case you were wondering, the reason that I filmed the rides going in two directions. The reason for that was because of the sun and the wind direction, so that you had sun looking at you in one way and the other way, and the same for the wind. So no camera had a better option. And yes, the roads are that empty. So a few of my on my videos, I get comments saying that the roads really that empty, we just edit out the traffic. No, they really are that empty. That was filmed on a Wednesday afternoon at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the roads were empty. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're in the market for a camera and you don't have a big budget, check out Wolfang. They're available on Amazon, 60 odd quid. Check them out, well worth the money. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, click the like button, and if you haven't, please subscribe. It does help me boost the channel a bit, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks everyone.